Hello, faculty, friends, and family of Roanoke College. My name is Isabella Moritz, and I am a research assistant under the direction of Dr. Leslie Ann Warden in art history. At this time, I invite you to pause this video so that you might be able to read through the poster, and I'm going to hide my face so you can do that. All right, great, welcome back. First, I wanted to talk you through a little bit of what you're seeing here with these drawings. So these are all the same pot, and I have spent 3 weeks now working on learning how to ink, and these are some of my rejects. And what you see here highlighted with the colored Sharpie on top are some errors that I've made and why these pot inkings are not acceptable for publication. So here, these two, they were made with just a 0.5 pen, and generally what we do is we do a smaller sized pen for some of the details. So as you can see, the inking here got smudged and they're a bit too dark for some of the features here. The gap up here is not wide enough. So those are some errors that I tried to correct going forward. This one was okay, but some of the errors occur in having a little bump up at this corner and just generally could be cleaner. This one here would have been great, except that the center line got smudged, and that makes it unacceptable. Up here, this one is one of the best ones that I did in the process of learning. So this was about the middle of my inking experience. This top corner, again, has a little bump to it, and there's a bit of a divot where my rim meets my center line. So that makes that a little bit unacceptable. And then these are my most recent ones. They're okay, they haven't been approved or rejected yet, but you can see the improvement over time, the steadiness in the hand, the similarities of one drawing to another, and that's a good sign that I'm getting better at it. So I have a couple questions that I thought I would answer for you guys. The first question that I've received is that no, sherds are not a typo. Sherd is how archaeologists refer to fragments of ceramic material. Shard is a colloquial term used in everyday, but sherd is the official term for ceramic data. Why study ceramics? I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with some really cool Egyptian artifacts like the gold mask of Tutankhamun. But when we study ceramics, we are able to study the lives of everyday people because ceramics were used by all people every day, especially in the storage, transportation, and preparation of food and drink. If you're interested in hearing more about that, my colleague Janelle is presenting about ancient Egyptian cooking pots from the Roman period. Another reason we study ceramics is that they preserve really well. Even if they're broken into fragments, they don't degrade over time the way organic material does, like wood or leather, because they decay, and those are more difficult to study. Whereas when you have prepared and fired clay, that it lasts a lot longer. And even if it's in small pieces, we're still able to reconstruct and derive data from that. Another question is, what happens to sherds that aren't diagnostic? So all of the data that is excavated, all of the sherds that are excavated are recorded in some way, shape, or form. We record where they're found. We record where in the strata they're found. But they are too difficult to translate into visual data of a pencil and then an inking. So we record the data about its size and its location and its type. And then that can be compared later on. If you have questions about that, my colleague Jessica is presenting on the digitization of the recording of the ceramic data in the field, and it's very interesting. So what this just means is that we're not drawing these sherds, but we are recording the data from them. So they're all important, but they're not as useful for visual analysis. And A last question I received was, is this the only way that inkings are made? And to that, we have to look at changing technologies. And so, no, inking by hand is not the only way they are made at the moment. However, the training of people who are doing inkings is much better developed when you're doing it by hand and learning how the ink flows, and it really makes you very, very detail oriented. And that's really important. It helps you develop good technique going forward. So a lot of people now are moving to creating digital inkings using Photoshop and tracing them on art tablets, and they'll appear along the computer. But I personally prefer to do things by hand, and it's nice to see my technique develop over time as I have these physical copies of inkings that I've created, and I can evaluate my technique as I progress. Thank you so much for your time. Please reach out to me if you have any questions about anything about ceramics, about our research here, about the art history program. I'd be happy to answer them for you. You can reach me at inmoritz@mail.roanoke.edu, and I'd be totally happy to hear from you. So thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day.